4 minutes until showtime.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. Charles Tendell and I are here, along with the Hayden Planetarium in the first hour. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting in about 4.5 minutes. Anything to comment, Charles?
4.5 minutes.
Okay. Jack in the chat room says he was at the Hayden Planetarium in the late 60s. And he says he needs to go back because he's out of astronaut ice cream from the gift shop.
3 minutes until showtime.
No comment on my shirt tonight, Charles.
Say again.
No comment on my shirt tonight. You make a shirt comment.
Oh, I could look. You know, you had on a nice white shirt.
No, that one is this is a white one now. The last one.
That's it.
This is a
You
pink
had a
one.
pink one on last time. This isn't a pink one.
This is a white one.
Yeah, I was like, that's not pink. I was like, unless I'm completely colorblind. I think I have. Is it like a denim? Is it like a denim kind of fabric? Or not denim.
Heavy cotton.
Yeah.
It's heavy cotton.
No. What is the one?
What does yours say?
Oh, mine says some people need a high five to the face.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yes.
No, I have one. I have one similar to that one, except it's a Wrangler one, and it's a heavy cotton one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of my favorite shirts that continues to magically disappear. It disappeared several years ago, and then it reappeared to tease me, and then it disappeared again.
2 minutes until showtime.
All right. So yeah, Brian, if you mute your mic, that'll be good, and just remember to unmute it when you come on. So then it'll be completely safe. That's good. All right. Let's see. Now we don't hear any of the background noise. Good. Okay. Mm-hmm.
One minute until showtime.
Okay.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, certified ethical hacker, Charles Tendell.
All right, and it's Monday. Oh, come on! It can't be that bad.
It's got to be. It's I saw this meme recently where it was when people say that you're gonna regret that in the morning. I sleep until noon the next day because I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
It's like Monday's gonna suck, so I sleep in until Wednesday because I'm a problem solver.
Okay. Well, that
I still think it works. I still think it's gonna suck.
Yeah, if it works for you,
Maybe.
Did you have a good weekend? Did you catch any good movies? Anything? No, exciting.
I honestly don't remember what I did this weekend. Yeah, it was an okay weekend. I had some break time.
Not much here. Working around the house and doing things, so it was kind of busy.
Did you get a new plant or something?
A new plant.
Immediately behind you, there looks to be this wiry plant structure.
Mean this thing?
Yeah, that thing.
That's a lamp. That's always been there.
Oh, okay. Maybe your head was just in the way before now.
It could have been. Yeah, I mean, it's just tilted up slightly there. It's a lamp.
Yeah, so now you look like an alien. You got these tentacles growing.
Hold on, I can make it look better. Hold on, let me see if I can do this.
Do you have a remote? You have a remote, don't you?
Let's see how that looks.
Whoa! Okay, that's creepy. It was like if you've got the button, watch the video after you hit the button. It's like
yeah, it did. You can dim it up and down everything. But what's even more incredible about it is that you can grab any one of those and lift it out of the lamp.
What?
It's you can take them out, lift them out. You can make your own arrangement. It's completely freeform.
So you're saying the base of the lamp is what's conducting the electricity?
Yeah, it's like a large cup, I guess, and then those things go into it, a holder, and then there's no physical attachment to each one of those.
That's freaky.
It is very freaky. It's a very unusual lamp, but anyhow.
Well, you like unusual.
Yeah, I like unusual things, which is why I like you. This. This is anyway. We're into a Monday edition of the show, and by the way, we have our Logitech winners of the week, not the week of the month. Yeah, we got 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 winners. We're going to be announcing those in the second hour of the show. Now, Charles, I understand that you're not going to be able to stay for the full 2 hours tonight. You have something calling away, so
yeah.
So Ben is going to be joining us in the second hour.
He's not Ben. You continue to refer to him as Ben, and we have all made this pact that we can no longer refer to him as Ben.
Pickled Chipmunk.
He is now Pickled Chipmunk.
Okay.
From now until the time that Craig retires, he is Pickled Chipmunk.
Pickled Chipmunk. Okay. So he'll be joining us in the second hour of the show when we do all that stuff. In the meantime, we got a great show planned for you tonight, and we'll announce the winners in the second hour of the show. But anything else you want to mention before we get started? Because I'm very excited about our guest in this hour.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we begin this hour with Brian Abbott, who is the Assistant Director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. Now, I got to tell you, when I went to the Hayden Planetarium, which, by the way, I absolutely loved to go to. I was about between the ages of 10 and 12 years old at the time.
You had to go on a horse-drawn carriage, didn't you?
Yeah, I'll bet they do a lot of things differently than when I went there, and we're going to find out. But tonight we're going to be answering
color television, and
Yeah. We'll be answering what is the digital universe. And the digital universe incorporates data, get this, from dozens of organizations worldwide to create the most complete and accurate 3D atlas of the universe from the local solar neighborhood out to the edge of the observable universe. And as you'll see, computers play a most important role in displaying the digital universes to audiences worldwide. Brian, welcome into Computer America, sir. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Now, as I mentioned, I mean, when I went to there, this was many, many years ago. I was about 10 or 12 years old at the time. I used to go all the time to the Hayden Planetarium by myself, by the way. And I remember there was this large structure in the middle of all the seats that were in the round, and it was the projector that they used to project. And it was a very sophisticated projector that would put the stars and everything on the wall, which was circular, and it would do all kinds of images that you could do. Do you still use that at the planetarium?
We do. We still have one of those, but we've augmented it with more modern technology. So the amazing thing about the star projector, which is what you saw. We have a new one, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We rebuilt the planetarium and reopened in 2000. So I don't know if you were there before 2000 or probably.
Yeah, before 2000. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So I didn't want to make any assumptions. So we rebuilt, and the idea of what the planetarium is has really changed a lot in the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Mm.
And so we still have that star projector, and it produces an amazing night sky. I mean, the stars that you see are just, they feel like you're right on top of them. I mean, just so amazing.
It's unforgettable. I mean, we're talking about the late 60s when I was there, okay? So it wasn't way back, okay? Uh-huh.
The interesting thing is, too, that technology hasn't changed too much. I mean, it's still a mechanical machine.
Right.
And it just produces these ultra bright pinpoints of light, and it makes you feel like you've left New York City and you're out in space.
Or you're sitting out in the open, because they could give you like a horizon. You could be like on the planet. You see the mountains in the distance. Yep. You could be like you're sitting outside and looking at the starry night.
Yep. You have that whole campground feel.
Right. Exactly. It's an amazing. Before we get started, my wife wanted me to ask you this question about the Pluto debacle. And she wants.
It's not a planet.
It's not a planet. So what's going on with Pluto? Is Neil deGrasse Tyson has he said that? I mean, what's going on? Is it still a planet or not?
So I'll give you the short, long story.
Right.
So when we rebuilt the Hayden Planetarium in 2000, we hung the planets.
You forgot the Pluto button. That's what it was.
Right, next to the big sphere.
Mm-hmm.
We hung up planets, but we did not hang Pluto. And we decided back then, this is in the late 90s, that Pluto really, it was really sort of being determined that Pluto doesn't really belong with the other planets. We knew for many, many decades that Pluto is not inclined, it's inclined to the rest of the planets, and its physical characteristics are unlike any other planet. But then once we started discovering these objects outside of Pluto, we really determined that it belonged with those objects called Kuiper Belt objects, which are sort of icy, rocky bodies past the gas giants.
Now, these aren't the exoplanets that you're talking about?
No, these are just small objects that orbit around the sun, and they're out past the orbit of Neptune.
Got it. All right.
So we made a call back then, and it really went unnoticed until about a year or so later, when it became a front-page story on the New York Times. And, of course, our director, Neil deGrasse Tyson, was at the center of this debate and has since written books and, got angry letters from third graders about this. So, but the scientific community has come around, and for the most part, they have agreed through scientific methods, not through opinion, that Pluto really does belong with these other objects. So now we have 8 planets. And by the way, the number of planets throughout history has gone up and down quite a bit. In the 1800s, there were, many, many, many planets. So
now, what about these exoplanets? I mean, they discovered some planet, and I guess the bottom is how many, because of those exoplanets, which I think are even further out. I mean, how many planets now are officially in our solar system? Is it still 8?
Well, our solar system, has 8 planets, from Mercury out to Neptune.
Okay.
But we now know of planets around all of these other stars in our neighborhood, basically. They're within, a few hundred light years, maybe a little more.
Okay.
So we now know of about 1,500 planets outside of our solar system.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so let's get to what we have you here for, because you're the manager of the Hayden Planetarium's digital universe at the American Museum of Natural History. So why don't you tell us what is the digital universe?
So the digital universe is something we started about 15 years ago, and it was the combination of being able to see these things on a computer. We always had data, but we could never really visualize them because the computer technology just could not handle that much data. And in the late 90s and the early 2000s, that really began to catch up. So, when we opened the planetarium, we opened with a gigantic SGI computer. Silicon graphics, because we needed that graphics power. Now, NVIDIA, you can buy something right off the shelf and run this thing. So we do on a laptop now what we used to do on this giant room-sized computer in the dome. So essentially what we've done is compiled data from scientists all over the world and put it into one consistent atlas. So that allows us to fly away from Earth, around the mountains of Mars, see the volcanoes there, the canyons, out of the solar system, see the nearby stars, all the way out of the Milky Way galaxy, all the way out to the edge of what we can see. And so we're plotting that, and we're able to explore it in 3D, just fly around wherever we want to go.
Now, for those of you who have never actually been physically to a planetarium, let me certainly encourage you to do so. Obviously, the Hayden Planetarium in New York. There are other planetariums around the country, but if you really should make a plan to visit one, because it is a unique experience. I mean, you really feel as though you're immersed in what it is that you're looking. Not necessarily, when you go to a 3D movie and you see things coming at you. No, that's not. This is or an IMAX, or this is nothing like that. I mean, you have to imagine like a dome over your head, that just basically reflects truly, what you would see if you were outside or looking up, and of course the things that they can project over that. It's just a unique experience, and I highly recommend that if you ever get the chance to go to Hayden Planetarium, or any planetarium for that matter, you really should do, because it's really hard to describe the experience. You really have to be there.
Could you describe it as out of this world?
Yeah, literally, it is. It's out of this world, and there's nothing comparable to it. I mean, no 3D television, no 3D movie, no IMAX screen. There's nothing like what you will experience in a planetarium. I mean, it's just you're in the middle of it, because first of all, you're like, it's almost like theater in the round. You're sitting with seats in a circular configuration, and those seats are I can't remember. I think they're sort of like a stadium, or the seats in front are lower than you, and they go up like a bowl, sort of like.
Many of them are like that. Ours tends to be a little flatter. We didn't want a lot of tilt in our space. We wanted to keep that campfire feel.
Got it.
So they're raised up a little bit, but it's very gradual.
Okay, all right. So.
But you're not worried about the head in front of you, because you're always looking up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look in front of you, you're going to see this large object, which really has nothing to do with what I mean, it's what's projecting everything, but
well,
it really doesn't.
You won't even see that anymore.
Oh, you don't even see that anymore. Okay.
No, I mean, if we bring that mechanical machine out to bring up the stars, we'll do that. But most of what we do now is full dome video, so it's just video projectors that are hidden away in the cove. So we have the whole center of the theater to do whatever we like.
What do you do with the center of the theater now that that's available?
Well, we can have speakers in there, and when I give a tour of the universe, you're free to kind of walk around the center, and you don't have this thing blocking your view. Not that they're going to see much of you, but if you pull in close to a planet or something bright, it'll brighten up the theater a bit, and you'll be able to sort of see where the speaker is. If we don't have a lot of people in there, we used to do this when we teach courses, we put out a rug and we let people just lie down on it, and that is the best view.
Wow. So let's continue with the digital universe. I mean, what does it include now, and also how often is it updated?
So I update it when time permits, but there's some data sets that require more updating than others. Exoplanets, it seems like there are more coming out every week. So that's something I'll pay a little more attention to than, say, a huge survey of galaxies outside the Milky Way, which only gets updated once or twice a year, or even less than that.
Well, I recall, discovering another planet outside of the solar system is a big deal. Initially, they couldn't do it.
The first one wasn't really published until 1995.
Right. And also, I think it was by inference, because they could only do it because of the gravitational pull or the reflection of light that sort of inferred that there was something there, but you really couldn't see it. As my recollection is how they usually detected those planets.
That's right, yeah. So it really was a revolution in observational technology, because we don't really see these planets. What we do is we measure the wobble of the star, and that wobble tells us about the stuff that's going around it that's making it wobble. So if you were to stand away from the solar system way out, Jupiter actually and the sun are doing a dance. And the sun isn't actually stationary at one point. It's actually going around a teeny little bit because of Jupiter's gravity. So they're both in this gravitational dance with one another.
And that's how you detect them. So still, there's no direct observation of these of these planets.
Well, we're getting actually very close to that, and some people have started to detect larger planets. Most of the planets we initially detected were large. That makes sense because they're easier to see. And so we're able to see those. They're like giant Jupiters, like 1 to 10 times the size, the mass of Jupiter.
And just to give you an idea how big Jupiter is compared to Earth, how many Earths can you fit inside Jupiter?
I mean, you can fit 3 just across the Great Red Spot. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah. All right. So
Jupiter is massive.
Okay.
Hundreds of Earths.
Hundreds of Earths inside the circumference of a Jupiter, and now we're talking about planets that are how many times bigger than Jupiter? So that's huge planets.
I mean, of course, there must be Earth-like planets out there, and that is the big race right now among many scientific groups, is to find, detect, and image the first Earth-sized planet. And many people have claimed to have done it, and I'm not totally up on the science, so there might be some people that have a very faint, fuzzy image of an Earth-like planet, a rocky planet. But that's really where the forefront of the science is right now.
Does it have to be the size of Earth? In other words, I mean, when you have a planet that's big, then the gravity is probably crushing, and you can't have life as we know it on that planet because of its mass, its size. It would have.
Yeah, the conditions are very widely. I mean, we couldn't live on Venus.
Right.
The pressure, it has such a big atmosphere. The pressure would be so great that I think the Russians landed two probes on the surface, and they lasted about 40 minutes before they were destroyed by the pressure.
Wow.
So it's really tricky. I mean, gas, obviously it's a big ball of gas. That would make life tough unless it's microbes in the atmosphere.
Yeah, so another myth broken. There are no Venusian women on the planet Venus. No.
You know, the one thing that I always try to tell people, and it's maybe I'm just the Star Trek geek in me, that everybody tries to classify life as what Star Trek calls humanoid. You know, the definition of life should probably be readjusted. I mean, think about the things that are the microbes that are living in atmospheres that are unfitting to human life. You know, we're looking for life as we know it on our own, on our Earth. You know, so I mean, it's weird that way. I don't know.
We want things with eyes and ears and things like that.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I think finding anything a microbe would be a breakthrough, a revolutionary thing in our species history.
Well, that's what happened with the Clinton presidency, where they thought they had detected microbes on Mars and Iraq or something, and then evidently that didn't come to fruition.
Well, it was a meteor that landed on Earth, and we know that there are some meteors that come from Mars. Something will crash into Mars,
right,
send these fragments out, and then once in a while they land on Earth. And they found what looked like tantalizing evidence for a microbe, a fossilized microbe, if you will. But it has been refuted since. And I think people still look at that rock with a lot of interest, but it's not as conclusive as we'd like.
Okay. Well, the conspiracy theorists will say they're
hiding something.
They're hiding something.
Let them worry about the face on Mars. Okay, we got other things.
Oh yes, the face on Mars. Exactly. So getting back to the digital universe, we talked a little bit of what it includes and how often it's updated. How are you using it, and where are you using it?
So we've been using it for many things within our museum. So within the walls of the museum, we use it in our space shows, which are the dome movies, essentially, that we produce. So we run a planetarium show throughout the day, and it's essentially a movie which uses real data and scientific visualization. So that's a big part of our space shows, is this active atlas that we can fly through in real time, but if we render it out into a movie, it looks even better. So we use it for a lot of different things in the museum like that, but we're also now distributing it out into planetariums around the world. And so we've worked with a few companies, and they are installing it on systems in planetariums in Asia and Europe, and we have some even in a homemade planetarium in Ghana in Africa. So it's exciting. There are many different people using it, and many different visitors that are allowed to have that experience of flying through the universe.
Now, for example, SETI had this program where people could they would actually volunteer to let them use their personal computers to go out and to mass data and
Yes.
is any of that? Are you thinking about doing anything like that in the digital universe, where your people could go out, use their volunteer their computers to contribute to the digital universe?
There aren't too many problems like that. The issue with SETI was that they had mountains of data, and they just needed people to reduce it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they need people to analyze the data, and they had the software to do it. They just needed the computer cycles, right? So they want to take some cycles off your PC and reduce this data for us when you're not doing anything else.
Right.
And so then it gets returned to them, and they get a lot of data reduced. We don't really have that issue. What we have is a mountain of data that's already been reduced, and we need to kind of massage it a bit in order for it to be in the atlas and make it consistent and decide how to visually represent it.
Okay. So you're using the digital universe, you say, in your planetarium programs and shows, and so does that mean that everything someone sees on the screen is in fact real?
Well, when we show the digital universe, there's one thing that is not real, and it's something that we'll never have a view of. So we don't have data on it. We'll never have data on it, and that is our own galaxy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a black hole or something.
Well, we don't even try there. Right? I mean, black holes. There are a lot of things. Actually, it's very difficult to include a lot of data sets because we just don't have enough data.
Mm-hmm.
The stars that we have accurate distances for are not that far from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
They're about to improve a lot with this new European Gaia satellite, but there's a lot of empty space out there that hasn't been really nailed down. I mean, we know the stars are out there. It's just hard to get distances to them. So black holes are tough. But our own Milky Way, we don't actually have a great idea. I mean, we know it's a spiral galaxy. We don't know if it has 2 arms or 4 arms, and how big the bar is, and things like that.
Why?
So we can't really.
Well, why? Why is that if it's so close?
So we're stuck right in the middle of it. It's like being in the middle of a donut,
Mm-hmm.
And we almost know more information about the Andromeda galaxy, which is 2 million light years away, than we do our own, because we're just stuck within this. So we see the Milky Way in the sky as this band of light.
Yeah.
If you're in a dark sky, not in New York, of course, but if the power's out. But you see this band of light, and that's the whole disk of our spiral galaxy. But looking at that band of light, you wouldn't guess that it's this huge spiral galaxy with 200 billion stars in it.
Yeah, it's almost like it's almost like a little haze, if you will. I mean, it's like a haze of light that you're looking through, and I've seen it many times. I remember I first learned about that actually at the Hayden Planetarium, and I became aware of that, and they showed that off, and then I've seen it many times since. But you're right. I mean, so that's basically you're looking, and because we're so close to it, that's the source of the problem.
We're inside it. It's like if you take like a record or a CD, we're about 2/3 of the way out, and we're right in the middle of the plastic that makes up that thing. So we're just like we just can't see. Now we know, because now we observe a lot of data sets, and we observe things across the galaxy, and we can infer the structure of our galaxy. But this is still an active scientific endeavor, and people still study it. Whereas if you look at Andromeda, we kind of know what Andromeda's about now. I mean, it's we can see it from the outside, but Milky Way, we're just inside it. It's hard to get the perspective.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you mentioned it, but you said there was a new space show based on the digital universe that recently opened. So can you tell us a little bit about that, this new one?
Yeah, it's the new one is called Dark Universe, and it's our 5th production. These typically take about 2 years to produce, and they're about 20 to 25 minutes long. So we take great care in every single minute of the production to make sure, A, it's scientifically accurate, and B, that we're telling a story that's compelling. And this one is bold because we're actually talking about the things that we don't see. We're talking about dark energy. We're talking about dark matter.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Okay.
We're talking about how the universe formed. All of these things that is really hard to visualize. How do you visualize dark energy? It's very difficult. So we took this on, and I think it's gotten pretty good reviews. And so yeah, it uses a lot of digital universe data sets, but it also uses a lot of data that aren't in digital universe and cannot be in digital universe. A lot of simulations, dark matter simulations, things like that from the scientists.
Well, dark matter again is we know that it's there because it's the math shows that it's there, right? I mean, we can't
the gravity, if you will. So we look at like a cluster of galaxies,
right?
And we notice they're all orbiting around one another, but if we look at all the gravity in that cluster, they wouldn't stay in orbit around each other. There's something else there that's keeping them in those orbits, and it's this thing called dark matter. Now, we could call it anything. Well, dark matter is just a placeholder term.
Right. I mean, my take on this, and here it is publicly. I mean, is that
wait. I have to record. Hold on.
Well, I mean, this is my theory, but I mean,
you're the only person that has a position on dark matter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, I don't know if you remember the old, the phlogiston thing. When you would burn something and then it would become lighter, and they didn't know why, and so they said it was the phlogiston that left this has been the 18th, 17th century, because they didn't know what was really going on, at the time. So they made up that word, and my thing is that, well, we're calling this dark matter because we really don't understand what's actually happening. And so we're just calling it dark matter. It might not actually be some matter. It might be some area of physics that we don't yet understand, and that's my theory.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly that's exactly correct. This is it's something we don't understand. It's something that has gravity, though.
Yeah. So
we want to think it's like some kind of particle, but we don't know yet. We don't know.
I don't know if you remember the phlogiston, thing. That was the old.
I thought this was a family show. You shouldn't be talking about phlogistons.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they called it back in the 17th century. The chemists, they didn't understand. When they burned something, they burned it and it was lighter than it was, and the stuff that went off was phlogiston. They didn't know what it was. They gave it a name. Anyhow.
No, it gives you cancer.
Exactly. Now. Let me just ask you: are there any upcoming programs where people can experience all of this new space show and digital universe?
Space show's running all the time, every day. We're only closed 2 days a year, and that's Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay.
But we do have some evening programs, and those are typically at the end of the month, on the last Tuesday of the month. And those happen after the museum closes. It's a separate event, and they go from 6:30 till about 7:30. And those are where you'll either see someone give a lecture or someone give a tour of the universe or things like that. So that'll be more of a live speaker with real-time flying through the universe.
Okay.
So those are called Astronomy Live.
All right. Okay. Listen, if you have a question for our guest tonight from the Hayden Planetarium, you can call us. You want to speak to Brian, you can call us at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. We also have email. You can send us a special email box set up when we're live and on the air. It is live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive add-on chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see under the first pull-down menu it says chat room/video, or there's a button there as well. You can click on it. It'll ask you for a username, which is the name you'll be known by when you go into the chat room. Click the sign-in button, and your Java-enabled browser on a Windows machine, Mac, Linux, they all work, will move you into the Computer America chat room. And also sharing that same page is our live Computer America video streaming page. It's up. You can see, you can watch us, and that's brought to you by Otherworld Computing, quality products, expert support since 1988. You can visit them at www.macsales.com. And .com, yes. So you can visit them there as well. We'll talk more about Otherworld Computing in the second hour of the show. But right now we're talking to Brian Abbott, the Assistant Director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History. 347-884-8881 is the easiest way to get you on and get you through. We'll continue on. We're talking about the digital universe. We'll continue on with them right after these messages. You're listening to Computer America.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No no-no has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the no-no, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible no-no hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the Spree Fitness Monitor. Now, the Spree Fitness Monitor is a Bluetooth Smart, or Bluetooth LE, meaning iOS only, module in a rubbery headband that relays body temperature, heart rate, and other data to an app that, once you set it up, shows calories burned, distance, speed, and exercise time. You can set goals. We try not to. Also, the choice of Bluetooth Smart isn't especially smart, since it eliminates more than half the handsets out there from working with it, at least for now. Until Bluetooth LE becomes a reality on Android, only iPhones and iPads will work with this. The headband is comfortable, and for many people, more convenient than other wearable tech alternatives. So bottom line, if you want to be your own trainer, a Spree Fitness Monitor can help you track your activity. This is Marty Winston at the News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
I still think he's dialing into my brain, but thank you, Marty, for telling us how we can keep track of staying fit. If you guys want to get in on more of this information, join us over on the Computer America Show. Give us a call, 347-884-8881. We are 33 minutes after the hour in the first hour, and we're talking about stars and Planetarium, and Addison is messaging me for no reason. Don't know why. But, we're having a good old time here on the Computer America Show for a Monday.
Oh, Monday.
Monday.
Oh, Fort just got back in the chat room. Okay.
Fort.
Okay. So we're talking to Brian Abbott, again, the Assistant Director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History in New York. Charles, have you ever been to a planetarium?
I've been to a couple of planetariums. The ones that I always enjoy are the ones where they do, you sit in the middle of the giant auditorium room, and then they project the universe on the dome around you.
Yeah,
it's really kind of cool. I went to one where they actually they did that, and then they put like puffs of smoke or whatever it was in the room, so that it looked like the stars were floating above your head and you could touch them. It was cool. I remember that.
Oh, that was.
But I've never been to the Hayden Planetarium though.
And there was no Pink Floyd music playing. Right?
All right. So if the Hayden Planetarium has Pink Floyd and these things that appear to be real but may not, Wait, Craig, you're a child of the '70s. You would probably know more about the things floating around with Pink Floyd than I would, wouldn't you?
Maybe. Maybe not.
It was the '70s, man.
Oh gosh. So anyway, Brian, we're talking about the digital universe and this series of programs that is being produced and created by the Hayden Planetarium. When you make these available to other planetariums around the world, as you said, and
we make our main space show available,
okay.
And so people can license that from us, and we also our data sets are become available if people get certain kinds of systems. It depends what company they're working with to install their planetarium.
Because there are different, as you said, there are different companies that make these different planetarium systems and not all necessarily compatible with each other. Is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. It's a tiny little market, but it's very competitive.
Wow. You think they would learn the lesson? I mean, but I guess. I mean, to make yourself compatible with other people, I would think would be a good thing. But
well, and we're pushing that a lot because the system we have, we actually built it kind of in-house. We started with a open source product, and then we had some interns come over and kind of rebuild that into something more sophisticated. And of course, they went off and started a company. But what it allows you to do is to communicate from dome to dome, or laptop to dome, and so there's this network presence where you can join two nodes together, and so I could be on my laptop in anywhere in the world and control the dome in the Hayden Planetarium, and so we have this thing dome casting where you can join up people from across the world and give a lecture to a bunch of planetariums or things like that. So it's even more important now, and I think one of our tasks is to try to get these companies to start talking to one another.
Yeah, that's a laudable endeavor. I don't know how successful you're going to be with it, but you know, because sometimes it's not a simple patch or something. Sometimes, I mean, right from the core, things can be so incompatible.
Yeah, and it's we've been frustrated because they tend to compete in places where we don't think they should, and so it is tricky coming from a nonprofit like we are to talking to these for-profit businesses. But
now,
you know,
well, the Hayden Planetarium, again, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, at least it was the first one that I've ever known. I mean, was it one of the first planetariums in the country, or I mean, where?
It was. There's sort of the four big early planetariums, and I think it was the third one that opened. It opened in 1935.
Okay.
And I think Adler in Chicago was one of the first, if not the first. There's Griffith in L.A. and
the Griffith Observatory has a planetarium in it.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
Not to mention an amazing view outside.
Yeah, really. I mean, they're right up at their position quite well for that. So I understand that you know how to, I guess, quote unquote, fly through the universe with this digital universe program. What exactly does that mean?
Well, you know, it's a lot easier than it used to be. It used to be a lot more complicated, but now with software advancements, we still use a mouse and a keyboard, and we just use a 3-button mouse to sort of navigate our way through the universe. And if you're just kind of going away from Earth and traveling amongst the stars, it's pretty straightforward. You know, you're either going to orbit around to Earth or you're going to pull away from something. But if you want to get down and sort of ride into the canyons on Mars, then it gets a little trickier. Then you need some more sophisticated knowledge to do that.
Well, you obviously, I mean, you're talking about like rendered, because obviously the canyons of Mars, they're mathematically or graphically created. They're not actual photographs, or are they?
No, it's all real data.
It is real data. Okay. All right.
It's real data, and it's real height data. It's just like Google Earth, Google Mars. Okay. Right? So we have basically, if you look at Google Mars, I mean, we essentially have that in our dome, and we just fly right down into the surface. We put a small atmosphere on there that represents the atmosphere of the planet, and fly right down into the canyon, or right over the volcanoes.
Wow. And you acquired this data from which what was it, for the different explorers that you had on Mars, or how does that work?
So a lot of the Mars, I mean, it's various. There are many projects that we have data from, but a lot of the high-resolution terrain on Mars comes from the CTX camera. It's the context camera for Mars, and so they haven't done a whole planet yet. They're kind of strips, so it kind of has that quilt patchwork sort of look to it. But where they've covered quite a bit of the planet, and where there is coverage, the resolution is really stunning. You can see sort of sand dunes and things like that. You can really get in there and see detail.
Okay, all right. So this flying process of the universe, how long did it actually take you to learn how to do that?
Well, so the early system we had, I don't know if you've heard something called the Cave, virtual reality environment.
Okay.
It's I don't know how many people still use them, but it's really a product of the 90s.
Uh-huh.
And it's a cube room where you step in and you put on a head tracker and you have a wand in your hand and rear projections, and you're in the data set, right? And it's all evolved out of that.
It sounds like what was it? What's the one that's in the news? The headset now, Charles. Is it the
Oculus
Rift? Yeah, Oculus Rift.
Horrible. The Facebook Rift.
Yeah, the Oculus. Is it something like that?
It's something like that, but it has this huge amount of hardware surrounding it. Where you see if you just look at it with your normal eyes, you see flat. It can have a floor, a ceiling, and the walls around you, and they're flat projections. But as soon as you put on the glasses, as it were, that just all those seams disappear, the walls disappear. You're in the data.
It sounds like Cerebro from the X-Men or something.
It's bizarre.
I can find you, Craig.
A tracker on your head and in your hand. So if you move your hand forward, the data come at you. So, and they used to use it to edit flight paths. So if you see like a nice flight through the universe on like a Nova show or in one of our space shows, there would be someone in the cave, like literally walking that flight path and tweak it. And so we used to use that software in our dome, and it was really hard to use because it wasn't built for a dome. It was really built for that cave environment, and it was just impossible to. There were only 3 of us that knew how to fly for many years in that place, and so when you have ticketed events, that's kind of dangerous. So things have gotten a lot better. It's a lot more stable now, and it's a lot easier to fly. So I actually train people to fly. So I've trained a bunch of people in the planetarium, and it's a fun process now.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of like the first they came out with these little drones, the little helicopters, radio-controlled helicopters, and they were a bear to learn how to fly. And then they came out with software in it, so basically just about anybody can fly it. I mean, the little computer handles all the fluctuations and the instability, so you can actually fly the thing very, very smoothly now. And I'm assuming that's a good analogy for what you're talking about.
Yeah, it is. It's a matter of how many degrees of freedom you want. And the less you have, the easier it's going to be to fly. So yeah, it sounds like a perfect analogy.
Yeah. So I guess the question to ask you is, where's your favorite place to fly in the universe?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. We used to sit in the planetarium after the museum closed, and this was new for us. This is about 13, 14 years ago.
I can imagine like this giant thing to play with that costs, and it's at your command to do whatever you want. Wow.
I am the master of the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to sit in there and just watch the local galaxies around the Milky Way. And it was one of the first really breakthrough data sets of anything outside of our galaxy. And there was a very famous astronomer named Brent Tully who kind of took all these various data sets and put them all into one and made it look consistent. And so we used to spin that on the dome and just look at the structure around the Milky Way, look at the Andromeda galaxy 2.5 million light years away, the Virgo cluster 60 million light years away with 1,000 galaxies in it. So that was always a fun thing just to sort of stare at, because the more you look at it, the more you absorb.
Yeah, I can. Now, I know this is kind of off the wall, and it's really not a question, but I got to ask you: Did you? I mean, one of my favorite movies was Cosmos, the Carl Sagan movie, with Jodie Foster in it.
Not Cosmos.
Not Cosmos. You're right. I'm sorry. It was Contact.
Yes.
Now, what did you think of that movie?
I was blown away by that movie.
Oh, good. I was gonna say, I hope you like it, because it's one of the few that I own on the DVD, because that was an amazing movie.
It's an amazing movie, and that whole initial sequence where you fly away from Earth.
Oh.
And you're listening at the radio signals back in time.
Yeah.
And it takes you, it sort of teaches you as you go out into the universe, you go back in time.
Yeah.
Right, so you're listening to our radio signals as they get older and older.
Which means we only what, about 50 years, 50 light years. That's as far as we.
Yeah, we have it at about 70, I think.
70 light years, exactly.
So there's this bubble around us.
Right.
And many of the exoplanetary systems are in that bubble, so our radio signals have washed over them.
Ah. Boy, we must feel really primitive if they're getting this. Going, oh my gosh, you know. But yeah, I mean, the amount of thought in that was just so clever. Again, it was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it was great.
And okay, so now, let's say you're not in the New York City area. Is there any way you can see the digital universe online? Because everything is online these days, right?
There is. We have a sort of a pared down version of it, and we're making strides to try to bring a full version of it to our website for a free download. But that's a bit challenging, especially when you talk about planets. So we have sort of a pared down version of it that's free, downloadable. It runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Wow.
And its only drawback is that it has a bit of a learning curve for the software, because the software was developed by someone at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. And you can imagine they're not too concerned about the interface, right?
Yeah.
They just want it to work well.
Yeah.
So the software itself is a megabyte. I kid you not. The whole thing is a megabyte.
Wow.
The data are a lot larger, but the software itself is really compact, written really well in C, I think. And it's free. It's open source. So we've used that for many, many years. And if you just take a few minutes to learn how to fly, what all the buttons mean, you have pretty much the whole universe from the sun out at your fingertips.
What's the software called?
There's for Linux, Charles.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I want to get this.
So it's on our website. If you go to haydenplanetarium.org, and it's just called Digital Universe.
Yeah, and by the way, if you go to the ARC website at computeramerica.com and just click on our show notes button, you'll see today's show, June the 23rd, Monday, and we have a link to the Hayden Planetarium website right there. So we have that there in place for you.
Excellent.
And yeah, it's up there, so you can actually go to the and right from there you can get a copy of this digital universe. And there's a version for the Windows, a version for Mac, and a version for Linux. I'm not surprised, it being open source, that you would have a version for Linux.
Yeah, it's also we don't actually mind the source code. Someone at National Center for Supercomputing Applications does that. So, I found that on some Linux systems it might complain about a library not there, or so it might take a little tweaking. And if you're a code nut, download the source code and compile it. So.
That's actually what I'm probably going to end up doing.
I know people like you.
No, you don't, actually.
Maybe.
Charles, of course, is a certified ethical hacker and does some amazing work in his own right. But no, this is all very, very cool.
Oh, this is so cool.
Oh, there it is. He's already getting into it. Yeah. So I guess, Brian, just a little bit more, because we have about another 5 or 6 minutes about the Hayden Planetarium. The digital universe is the program, but you have other programs as well that you do, or are you strictly focused on the digital universe at this time?
I myself, or like the planetarium.
The planetarium.
Well, I mean, we work on a lot of stuff, and so not many people know this, but the museum is actually a research institution.
I didn't know that.
So I sit among people who do science all day.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in the Department of Astrophysics, and we kind of manage the Hayden, but we do it out of the Department of Astrophysics on the science side of the museum. And so there are 200 people just doing research at the museum. It's like a university.
Wow.
And it's really great because it allows us to have that level of knowledge. Our space shows have the latest on the forefront of science in them, and so we can tap right into our research staff. And so we have that going on along with all the educational programs and all the exhibits and things like that. So yeah, there's always stuff going on, whether it's new people coming in, scientists giving talks, things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So you have you actually have lectures. I mean, are you associated with any kind of a university, or do you give courses given there, or is it strictly research?
We do some courses. So we do have a PhD program. We're the first museum in the U.S. to have a graduate program.
Whoa!
And so right now that's limited to comparative biology.
Okay.
And we also have a master's program, which we're working on, which is a master's in teaching and science.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have people who come in that have never been teachers but want to become teachers, get a master's in science through our department and other departments in the museum.
Okay, so that's part of the American Museum of Natural History, then, of which the
Well, we're all one museum now.
Okay.
We used to be separate. When you came, we were two separate museums.
Uh-huh.
And when we tore down the old planetarium, we rebuilt the Rose Center for Earth and Space, it all got merged into one institution.
Well, you mean where I carved my initials back in the... That's no longer there? Oh. I was going to go back and see that and say, hey, look what I did. No, it's gone.
If you did it in the tree outside, that tree is still there.
Now, wait a minute, Craig. You need to make sure before you make that statement that you're outside of the statute of limitations for defacing private property.
Way outside, exactly.
We're coming after you.
Oh, so I won't if I go back there, I'm not going to recognize anything.
Completely different. It is a giant glass cube inside of which is a floating sphere.
Oh my
gosh! And the top half of that sphere is the Planetarium Theater.
This is cool. I'm watching the Digital Universe video.
The known universe.
Yeah, and I just feel like I'm aboard the Enterprise, just traveling at warp speed.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
So the universe was it was really the most popular video that the museum has put on their website. And we actually designed it for another museum for an exhibit at a Himalayan art museum called the Rubin Museum here, and they were doing an exhibit on cosmology.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted the science perspective, so we built this 6-minute video that flies from Earth out to the edge of what we see and back. And it's been very popular. But it comes right out of the Digital Universe.
It sounds to me like I haven't seen the picture, but it sounds like you're competing like with Apple stores, that are all glass and
yeah, I mean it makes a statement. There's no doubt about that.
Or was it the Louvre in Paris, which is the glass pyramid? Yeah, exactly. So no, you're a glass cube, you're saying, and then there's a round dome within the cubes.
There's an entire sphere that's resting on 3 legs.
Oh my gosh.
And underneath the sphere are exhibits and things like that. Yeah,
And the planetarium is located in the sphere itself.
Yeah, top half of the sphere. It's got a 430-seat planetarium.
Wow. And how many shows do you do a day there?
We run the space show pretty much every half hour, and then once in a while we either teach classes after the space shows, or we'll have these public programs like Astronomy Live and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And the people who teach them, are they what kind of background are we talking about here?
Most of them are astro background, and some of them come at it from a science background, like myself, who were trained as astronomers and astrophysicists, and some of them come at it from an education side. And we kind of all sort of pool our resources and our time to do these programs.
And who decides what the syllabus is, or for that? Is that constantly changing, or is it always the same, or what?
Well, we decide what programs we want to give, and there are people in the education department who kind of line up what the offerings are going to be, and they handle the logistics of all of that.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of costs are involved? I mean, let's just talk about going to the planetarium to see a show. What is that? What is that usually?
Oh boy, I don't know what that is now. I mean, it's the museum.
Wow.
The museums in New York are all suggested donation.
Okay.
Right. So if you walk into the Metropolitan Museum of Art or our museum, if you want to roam the halls, you can do so with whatever cash you want to give them, $1 or whatever. If you want to see a special exhibit like the Space Show, then you're going to be in it for a ticket.
Okay.
And so I think the Space Show right now is either 22 or 24 or something like that. The evening programs that we do that are over twice as long as a space show and have a live presenter, I think, are 15.
Wow. Okay. Well, it really hasn't gone up much. I mean, that's around what I spent when I went back those days to see the planetarium and watching the show. I mean, things have been inflation really hasn't hit you that much.
We have the benefit of being a large museum, whereas most planetariums are single institutions. They don't have a lot of people coming through the doors. We had 5 million people come through the doors last year. So, planetariums typically operate on a shoestring budget, but we have a lot more flexibility with all the tourists that come through New York City.
Yeah, I was going to say being in a major metropolitan area probably really does pay off.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, Brian, we're pretty much out of time. I really do want to thank you for taking the time to be here with us and share some of this experience. And again, to all of our listeners, if you have not been to a planetarium before, I highly suggest go to the Hayden Planetarium if you're in the area or you're planning a trip to New York City and you're wondering some of the things and sights to see. You definitely should add the Hayden Planetarium to your list because you will not be disappointed. I'm speaking just from my experience for years ago, but obviously it's vastly improved. And the matter of fact, next time I get to New York, I'm definitely going to go visit the planetarium. And matter of fact, I'll see if I can look you up. Do you hang out at the planetarium a lot? I mean, you're usually there.
Well, I'm in the, I work in the building. I'm not in the theater a lot. But,
okay. Well.
Yeah,
we'll definitely check it out. And again, go to computeramerica.com, go to our show notes page. You'll see the link to the haydenplanetarium.org website, and you can see all of that for yourself. I also see that you have another link here, brianabbott.net. What is that? What is that for?
Oh, that's just my own website. I didn't know.
Okay.
Whether you wanted that, but it's my own website.
Well, you could go visit that too, brianabbott.net. Why not? And then that's it exactly, and check all of it out. Brian, thanks so much for being with us here on Computer America. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us here and sharing some of the things that you're doing there. Really amazing stuff. All right, sir. Take care. Have a good evening. Good night.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night, Brian.
All right. Okay. So.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It looks cool. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna have. I'll tell you what. We're gonna have our Logitech winners. We're gonna have not one, not two, but three of them. It's interesting variety of winners we had this month. Our contest goes for 6 weeks. And if you go to the Computer America website and you go to our contest page, you will see once again that we have restarted the contest. That's right.
I said because I never win.
And you can check it out for yourself. We have all the prizes are up again for grabs. And if you go to our contest page, you can check them all out, of course, and also subscribe to our weekly email show reminder. And you can get in our weekly drawing as well. All right, coming up now, Charles. I understand you're going to be leaving.
Yep. Pickle Chipmunk is going to be taking over for me.
Pickle Chipmunk, yeah, he's in there now. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Pickle Chipmunk! Ben, hey, that dirt stuff is on your chin again.
I know, and it's growing, too.
It's multiplying. You got to be careful with that.
Are you saying it's a slippery slope with facial hair?
It is, man. As soon as it's going to be like poof. It's just going to stay there.
We can hope.
I mean, I know Craig can't grow facial hair, so
Well, he can, but he only grows those, the acidic, the sideburns. That's awesome.
Are there the Wolverine sideburns that come all the way down?
No, the hair that comes up a little here with the little fling. That's the Wolverine. When I step out of the shower, it looks just like that.
I don't want to picture you stepping out of the shower.
No, you
so
don't.
let's please not ever do that again. Not ever do that one again. God, it's in my brain!
Getting out of the pool. How about that? Okay.
No!
Not that either.
Oh, no! God!
All right.
Oh, man, I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep. Can't sleep. The Craig will eat me.
Okay. Well, we got some. What kind of news stories we can come out, Ben? Do you know?
Some new tech ones. There's one about an oven. It's like GE's most expensive new oven, so I'm pretty sure it can make food out of thin air.
Yeah, 3D printed food.
Yeah, well, not 3D. No, what's the Star Trek one?
Replicator.
Replicator. It's actually a replicator, so that's nice. New gadgets, new technology, new sciences, new stuff.
Oh, we'll see you tomorrow, Charles. Okay. This is Computer America. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind Tech Talk and at computeramerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your stepping-in co-host, Ben.
All right, and we're continuing on. Charles Tendell is out, but we are still okay.
Charles is out. Ben is in.
Yeah, Charles is out and Ben is in. And
sounds like a good first hour.
It was a very good. It was, and I found out a lot of stuff that I know that you and your mom wanted to know.
It seems like asking how many planets are in the solar system would be obvious.
Yeah, well, 8 is what he said. 8, yeah. Well,
wouldn't that be including Pluto?
No, Pluto is not included. According to him, Pluto is not a planet and not in the list. So there you go. So,
poor Pluto.
Yeah, poor Pluto. I know. Anyhow, welcome into Hour 2 of the Computer America Show, and Jonathan just spotted in the room. Hi. Okay. People popping up and in and out of the chat room.
Which I maintain is one of the easiest ways to ask your question on the Air Force.
Yeah. By the way, you're saying you're having better luck with Java this time.
I am.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, the Java's playing nice, because sometimes Java, and I'm sure everyone who has ever tried to install any program, Java maintains to be one of the most finicky and temperamental programs out there.
Yeah, it is. Why don't we do this? Before we do news, why don't we start off with our first winner?
You haven't done any of the winners for the Logitech contest yet?
Nope. No, I'm saving because we had so much to talk about with the Hayden Planetarium. I didn't want to take any time away from that. So, but we'll start. So we have 3 winners, and again, our contest runs six weeks, and we're starting again tonight. But we have 3 winners, and this first winner is for the Logitech HD webcam C310. This is the really a nice webcam from Logitech, and it has the Carl Zeiss icon. Basically, it uses something called the Logitech Fluid Crystal technology. So it gives you what you need to make your video calls and recorded videos better, and it's valued at $50. Very, very nice prize. Okay. And that prize goes to Susan Jordan. Susan Jordan, congratulations. You're our 3rd place winner for the Logitech HD Webcam C310. Susan listens to us in Union Springs, Alabama. Okay? And she actually has a comment. She says, "This is my first entry. Hope I win. Thanks, Susan." Well, guess what, Susan? Your hopes and dreams have come true. You have won the 3rd place prize, the Logitech HD Webcam C310. It's a beautiful webcam. Enjoy it, and thanks for entering our contest. Okay? All right.
Congratulations.
Say again?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, so let's, and again, thanks to Brian Abbott from the Hayden Planetarium for being with us here. Really interesting. Interesting hour. And of course, you can listen to it again. You can listen to any of our shows at computeramerica.com. Just go there and you can go to our archives page under the archives pull-down menu, and you can listen to any show on Blog Talk Radio where they archive it there. Of course, you can listen to it live at the Boost Radio Network or the IRN Radio Network. 2 of many networks that carry our show, but you can listen to the archives at the Blog Talk Radio Network. It's just blogtalkradio.com/computeramerica. We have the link right there under the archives page, so you can listen to any show that we've done since we began broadcasting on the Blog Talk Radio Network. Okay, so let's do some computer. Unless you have anything else you want to say, or before we get started, anything you want to do before we do the news? Ben?
Nope, nothing to plug. We're good.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website, absolutely free. Okay. It's not a freemium model, or they give you part of the software and then you like it, or they give it to you for 10 days and then you have to pay. No, everything there is free. All of them, clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. We use them here at the Crossman household. Check them out at slimwareutilities.com. Download them all. Download all of them. Really, you'll have a. It'll be really. You'll enjoy using them. They'll do exactly what they say they do, and you'll be happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. Okay, so let's start off with the first news story of the day.
All right.
And this is from Maximum PC, Paul Lilly. Intel Haswell-E, Haswell-E, rumored to hit retail in September. Now, along with Haswell-E comes Intel's X99 chipset and DDR4 memory. Supposing the latest rumor regarding Intel's Haswell-E processor family comes true, you'll have all summer to save up to build the system around a next-generation platform. A leaked document points to September 14th, 2014 as the day Intel plans to launch Haswell-E to retail, which could coincide with an announcement at Intel's upcoming IDF 14 in San Francisco. This year's IDF runs September 9th to 11th. An excerpt from the leaked document was posted. According to the excerpt, at least 3 Core i7 chips based on Haswell-E will debut on September the 14th, along with Intel's upcoming X99 chipset. One thing to keep in mind if you're planning a next-generation build is that X99 boards will require DDR4 memory. The 3 Core i7 parts mentioned include the 8 core, the 6 core, and the with a 15 megabyte L3 cache, and the 6 core 15 megabyte cache without L3. All reportedly carry a TDP of 140 watts and supports hyperthreading, of course.
Craig, are you new to this?
No, why?
You were talking about processors and you skipped over the speeds.
Oh, okay. Well, you're right. The 8 core 20 megabyte L3 cache, 3 gigahertz, 3 to 3.5 gigahertz. That was the fastest one. The iCore i7 6 core, which is 3.5 to 3.7 gigahertz. And
even faster?
And the Core i7 6 core, which is 3.3 to 3.8 gigahertz. All of them. Yes, very fast.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Well, yeah, exactly. Really, really nice. And again, they're saying, but of course, this is still all rumor. It may or may not happen.
It's all rumor, but I mean, those are pretty specific, details. So, I mean,
yeah, which means it's probably going to happen.
There's so much detail. How could it not be true?
I
guess I don't know.
All right. Okay.
Well, I also have a story from Maxim PC, and yes, I picked this not because it was a game one, but because it was an odd one. So this one from Maxim PC. This one from Sean Knight, and it's titled "Ubisoft gives reason for disabled settings in PC version of Watch Dogs." So now the PC version of Watch Dogs has caused quite a bit of frustration for PC gamers since its release. The game's launch was hampered by Uplay issues, Ubisoft's digital distribution platform, and overall performance issues. But the latest controversy has caused Ubisoft to respond to the discovery of deactivated settings in the PC version of Watch Dogs. So here's the deal: modders recently discovered that high-end graphical effects have been deactivated for the PC retail version, with one of the users actually documenting the discovery. And references were found in the code that suggest that settings and animations were meant for E3, quote-unquote, mode when the game has been shown at the conference. Meanwhile, the discovery of deactivated effects in the game's code prompted a modder with the handle The Worst to release a mod that activates the visual enhancements. So what all of that means is that Ubisoft they had a demo at E3 that looked amazing, but they actually scaled back the visual effects for the PC version alone. The PS3 and the Xbox One wasn't touched. It was just the one that came out for computers was scaled back to a point where it actually looked worse than the console counterparts.
Wow. So
And
to throw people off or what?
you know, and a lot of people were kind of commenting how this was due to the fact that PlayStation kind of paid for not really exclusivity because it came out on all the consoles, but you know, console makers were really the driving force behind this, and they ported it over to the PC. So since they wanted, you know, the people who paid them to be happy, they actually scaled back the graphics and the visual effects on the PC version, which was obviously going to run higher than anything that the new consoles would. So, you know, just to make sure that the PC was behind graphically than the consoles, they actually took out a lot of the visual effects and the graphics to actually make the game look worse for those who paid it, you know, paid for it.
Wow.
So, and of course that, you know, they're gonna deny up and down, and we have a quote here from them. But you know, that was the thing, and when they say they had a modder, they actually had someone go into the game code and find a way to actually turn up the settings that they turned down. They reactivated some of the settings that they turned off. They found ways to actually get it back to the full effect that it was when it was first debuted at E3.
And how did it look?
It looked amazing. I mean, just the crowd density, you know, the fidelity rating, all of it. I mean, it looked much better than anything you would get on even the next gen consoles. But you know, of course, that all comes with more CPU usage and, you know, just a bigger drain on your resources on your computer. But I mean, if you have a PC and you have a pretty good one, you know, that you really don't care about that. So I mean, the quote that they have from the Ubisoft's official website says something along the development team is completely dedicated to getting the most out of each platform. So the notion that we would actively downgrade quality is contrary to everything we've set out to achieve. We test and optimize our games for each platform on which they are released, striving for the best possible quality. So it continues on saying that they admitting to the existence of disabled settings in Watchdog, which broke into Raptor's most played games in, you know, PC. So you know, Watchdog was played a lot. The PC version does indeed contain some old unused render settings that were deactivated for a variety of reasons, including possible impacts to visual fidelity, stability, performance, and overall gameplay quality. And modders have found these old settings and that subjectively enhance the game's visual fidelity in certain situations, but also cause various negative impacts. And of course, they're saying the negative impacts of increased graphics are, you know, gameplay-wise, you may not be able to tell what's going on. You know, just it may slow down just because there's so much more going on. So they're kind of trying to defend themselves, saying, yeah, we did turn it down, but we did it just so people would get a better experience out of the game.
Well, yeah, they have to cover themselves, obviously. So, I mean, it would be terrible if they said, yeah, we turned it down because we had to deal with
exactly
Sony.
So I mean, that's just the latest controversy. So, you know, pick your side. You can either believe Ubisoft really did feel that it enhanced the game to turn down the graphics, or that, you know, console makers kind of pushed them and said, hey, you know, this looks a little bit too good on PCs. You need to tone this down. So, but I mean, either way, there's now a new mod that you can actually pretty easily find that if you have a PC, of course, modding is not possible on PlayStation or Xbox. So the mod is only available for PC, but you can actually download this mod and get all the settings back to what they were originally and get the settings back up there.
Do you think they didn't think they would get caught?
You know, people always dig around in code, and they always find little, you know, if you don't scrub your code clean, you know, if you intend to put a little secret in there, a little Easter egg, something, and then you take it out, people are going to find that one line of code that just points in the wrong direction. So, I mean, they didn't do a good job of covering their tracks if they were doing something slightly devious, but, I mean, it's, at this point, PC gamers have a way to get those settings back. So, you know, it's just going to be something to look, you know, to think about in the future with you know, Ubisoft and how they make games. Are they going to hamper their future games for PC and leave their console games alone or not? So,
okay,
it's going to be different.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Well, we've been talking about the Google and their self-driving vehicles, and evidently they're not going to be the only one, according to this article, and according to Engadget. Cruise is aiming to make a self-driving car out of the one you already own. In other words, what a great thing. They're going to make something to add on to an existing car, a piece of technology, that will convert your existing automobile to a self-driving car.
Well, that's the holy grail, isn't it?
That would be amazing. I mean, right now they have to buy the Google self-car. No. Now you can just buy this and slap this stuff on your car, and it would convert to a. This is amazing. This is, again, according to the Engadget's story, we're plummeting headlong into a future of cars that move without us, and you may not have to buy a brand new car to be a part of it. Evidently, a startup called Cruise has been showing off a working prototype of its aftermarket RP1 kit, and it aims to bring self-driving smarts to the car you already have. Boy, if they could do this. Cruise's system is an awfully neat one. It combines a roof-mounted sensor array with a series of actuators that manipulate the wheel and pedals. Meanwhile, a computer lodged in the trunk of your car sort of sits between the two, chewing on all that road data and issuing commands to the control system. Of course, all that is invisible to the person in the driver's seat. One touch of a button installed in the dash toggles the whole shebang on and off. Calling it a full-fledged autonomous driving system is a bit too generous, though. At this point, it's best to think of it as a cruise control plus. Cruise will maintain a set speed and steer to avoid obstacles, but you shouldn't plan on taking any naps in the back seat. Aw, gee. If that all sounds just a little too good to be true, well, you may be right. Neat as the startup's tech is, it's only set up to work on Bay Area freeways and with the Audi's recent A4 and S4 models for now. Anyway, tackling the former is an especially tricky issue since Cruise does all of the road mapping itself. Scaling beyond a few locales would likely require loads of time and devotion. They don't have the resources, obviously, that Google has. Cruise's tech will set you back a pretty penny, too. It'll cost you $10,000 to trick out your Audi with the requested slew of sensors and silicon. That's hardly the most accessible proposition we've ever heard. And, but if the Cruise team keeps the improvements coming, this just might give Google and its rivals a run for their money.
You know what this tells me?
What does this tell you?
This tells me that self-driving cars are not easy.
No. Well, did you ever think for a moment they were?
I thought they would. I honestly did. I know nothing of automation or cars or even cameras for that matter. But I mean, you would just think it would be 3D mapping the surrounding area, and then just having a program, saying, if then, just like maybe 30 if then statements. Not quite.
The technological hurdles to create a self-driving vehicle, Ben, are astronomical.
I mean, if this new technology that we're talking about right now, the RP1 kit, is only available for like 2 cars and costs $10,000 and only works in one area.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the fact that Google's doing all this out of pocket, I mean, just for fun, they haven't even received a dime of, consumer money yet.
Mm-hmm.
Google is putting some major cash behind this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah.
Well, so much for turning your existing car into a self-driving car.
You got my hopes up.
The title got my hopes up too. I just didn't read the rest of it.
I think, oh wow, I can run down to AutoZone and and just slap that sucker on, and we'd be off and running.
Yeah. I judged a book by its cover, but I mean, hey, at least someone else is tackling it.
Huh? They're trying.
Yeah.
They got a humongous job ahead of them, though.
It's. I honestly didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but I guess I guess it has to be.
It is.
Yeah.
It is huge.
Okay. So, going from cars down now to this one is ultra high end. This one's from CNET, and I saw it and I thought, you know what? I haven't, at least I know I have it on the show. I don't know about you guys. Have you guys done kitchen appliances recently?
No, we haven't.
Because, I'm sure you guys talk about Nest all the time and all the other smart home innovations and whatnot. But I mean, everyday kitchen appliances, your oven, your dishwasher, your refrigerator, your microwave, I'm sure all those are going under, technological revolutions as well.
Uh-huh.
So, I found this article here from CNET, and it's ultra high-end kitchen smarts from the GE Monogram French door wall oven. It's a French door wall oven made by GE.
Looks very pretty.
It looks gorgeous.
Yep.
So, the article reads, GE unveiled its newest Monogram appliance from the Dwell on Design trade show today, introducing consumers to a new ultra high-end French door wall oven that promises sophistication and smarts. Like the GE Profile wall oven that CNET reviewed earlier this year, you'll have full remote control over temperature and cooking time through GE's Brilliant app, available for Android and iOS. So yes, you can control your oven through your smartphone. Smarts and sophistication tend to add up to a hefty price tag, and in this case, it's a hefty price tag as we've ever seen in a single wall oven from GE. At $4,700.
Oh my God.
The new Monogram French door wall oven that you could probably get a new kitchen for is due out in early 2015. Will cost over $1,000 more than the most expensive single wall oven the company currently offers in its high-end Monogram series. So GE justifies the price by pointing out the oven's luxurious, chef-inspired design, as well as cooking features fit for the pros but designed for the home. That might be borrowing a recent page from the Samsung playbook, as the Korean company is currently betting big on a new line of chef collection kitchen appliances, designed using input from world-class chefs and aim at the upper end of the market. GE's price point aims even higher, almost $2,000 higher than Samsung's.
Right.
So, they have preheat your oven from the grocery store, which, using the app you can do. No more waiting for the beep. You get an alert on your smartphone when your cookies are done. Not quite ready for dinner? Change your oven's temperature from your living room, again, using the app. So, of course, GE is keeping smart features in the mix. Interesting enough, the features include basic remote functionality through the app. And really, you'll be able to do things like program custom cooking cycles or set the oven to start preheating before you get home from work.
Very nice.
They have a couple more here. Smart chat with your appliance using your phone or online instant messaging. Your oven can answer basic questions about mode, operation time, or the amount of time left in a cooking cycle. Auto Sabbath mode. Weird. Your oven can help you observe the Sabbath. This feature removes the worry of forgetting to put your oven into Sabbath mode.
Oh my gosh.
By entering your home zip code, your oven will keep track of sunrise and sunset for precise activation.
That's right, because you're not allowed to use anything electrical during this.
Yep. No button. You're not allowed to push a button, turn a knob, do nothing.
Nope, nothing but
But yeah, I hear there's a whole industry about getting around that with the Sabbath. So.
Yes, there are.
Let's see, oven lockout. Do you worry about your kids turning on the oven when you're away? Oven lockout allows you to lock your controls when you're not home. You can even you can even have a daily schedule to lock it when you're not home. Multi-temp cooking. Do you have a recipe that requires 400 then drops to 325? With the add-on, it automatically have the oven change cooking temperature and mode during the cooking time. Cooking education. There's a couple features that allow the oven to help you cook. And auto time set. Wouldn't you love to not have to reset your clock after a power failure or when daylight savings time ends? The auto time set add-on can reset the clocks on the appliances to the correct time. So, I mean, this thing just has features I have never even heard of.
Yeah.
And it's just, for $4,700, I'm glad they found something I didn't even think of. But, I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, it does. It looks really nice. But it's taking it to the nth degree.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. But then again, taking things to the nth degree sometimes can be.
But I mean, I just thought it was fun because, you know, I know here on the show we really don't do kitchen appliances that much, but I mean, did you know ovens come with Sabbath mode?
No, I had never heard of that before. We did have GE on the show a while back talking about in magnetic induction cooking, and we talked about that when it just come out because they had a cooktop. But yeah.
Well, maybe we should start having some. You know, I know there's good things going on with fridges.
Yeah.
Like with refrigerating.
Uh-huh.
You know, they can tell you when things spoil, what's in the fridge, you know, and send it to your smartphone. I know there's good things going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there are other, you know, creative things going on with other appliances.
Maybe we need to get GE on the show.
Maybe we do.
Yeah. Well, let's do this next story here from Engadget again. San Francisco bans apps that let you buy and sell public parking spots. Did you know you can do this? Anyone who's ever driven in San Francisco knows that parking in the city can be a nightmare. Now, garages are often expensive and street spaces are almost impossible to find, especially during the peak hours. Evidently, there are several parking apps have cropped up to resolve that issue. A few by allowing folks to auction or sell their spots to others. Sounds like a neat way to make money, right? Well, there's a very important snag. Buying and selling public parking spaces like that is illegal. San Francisco City Attorney has just issued a cease and desist demand today to Monkey Parking, which is an iOS app that lets users bid for other people's parking spaces. The letter cites this is like scalping tickets, you know. It's illegal.
You think?
Yeah, it's the same thing. You buy a number of seats at a very popular event, and then you go outside and you resell them for a premium version. You can't do that. It's scalping. It's illegal.
So what if it was for at cost?
Well, then that's not considered scalping. If you sell it at cost, then you're not scalping the ticket. But the moment you start charging more than the face value of the ticket, you're making a profit. It's illegal. You can go to jail.
Okay.
The letter cites San Francisco Police Code section that states it shall be unlawful for any person, firm, or corporation to enter into a lease, rental agreement, or contract of any kind, written or oral, with or without compensation for the use of any street or sidewalk. But it didn't say parking.
Oh, I get it now.
Huh.
They aren't mad that people are selling their time that they already paid for on parking meters. They're getting mad because the city's not getting their cut from that transaction.
No, they're not.
Yes. And that okay, so that's a very small subset of a very, very small law that just kind of got twisted to.
Individual drivers who violate the law can face up to $300 per violation. And as Monkey Parking's entire business is based on an illegal premise, the city is requesting that the Rome, Italy-based company end operations in San Francisco altogether. The firm has until July the 11th to do so before further legal action is taken. It could be sued for up to $2,500 per infraction under California's unfair competition law. They copied the letter to Apple as well, requesting that Apple take the app down from the App Store. The city also sent warnings to two other parking apps, Switch and Parkmoto, both of which also let you buy and sell parking spots. Wow. Switch users can pay $5 for a spot from another user and get paid $4 if they help them park. And Parkmoto, which has yet to launch, has been offering people $13 an hour to occupy parking spots that they'll get to sell. Wow. So basically it's all illegal according to them, and that means all these apps are going to be pretty much dead in the water. Wow.
Apps breaking the law. Who knew?
Hey, we've got two more winners from a Logitech contest and a brand new news tip bulletin from Marty Winston coming up. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin Review of the StarTech ST4300U3C3 4-port USB 3 hub with 3-port charger. Now, I have been personally frustrated with underpowered powering devices, so this is going to get just a little geeky. The wall wart that comes with this is rated 12 volts at 3000 milliamps. The power spec on the 4 USB 3 ports, 900 milliamps each. The 3 dedicated charging ports are rated at 1 amp and 1 amp and 2 amps. Doing the math, it needs to deliver 38 watts, a total of 7.6 amps at 5 volts. The wall wart delivers 36 watts, and the sourcing port, the upstream USB 3 port, delivers 4.5 watts. So at last, we seem to have a solution that isn't current-starved. The 4 data-connected ports have status LEDs. The 3 charging ports have an intelligent control chipset that auto-shifts to fast charging mode when appropriate. The whole thing is compact and rectangular, about the size of a protein bar. So bottom line, the StarTech 4-port USB 3 hub and 3-port charger is a powerfully sweet way to tackle a lot of USB needs all at once. This is Marty Winston at the News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 33 minutes past the hour, and
What'd you think of that News Tip Bulletin?
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah, Marty Winston always does great little news blurbs, and I mean, I've liked every one he's done.
There you go. I'll let him know.
Say he has a fan.
All right. I'm hopefully more than one.
I'm sure everyone likes him. I mean, let's say this: I haven't heard anyone badmouth him yet.
No, not at all.
And people on the internet tend to badmouth things very easily. So he doesn't have anyone rooting against him. So that's very good.
All right. Well, we're gonna have more. We have more news stories, of course. And do you think we should do another winner?
I think we should.
Okay. Well, let's do our second place winner. This is for the Logitech G400S gaming mouse, valued at $60. It's got an LED illuminated sensor. That basically it has 8 programmable buttons, a 1 millisecond report rate. One of the most sensitive mice that I've seen out there. Again, there's G400S gaming mouse, valued at $60, and that prize goes to Pat Hodges. Pat Hodges, congratulations. You are our winner, our second place winner. Pat listens to the Computer America show in, I know Florida, and I don't Ovidio, Florida. Ovidio, Florida. I never know Oviedo, Oviedo, Florida. Not familiar with it. Anyway, Pat, by the way, has also a little message here. He says, "Hello, thanks for the opportunity." I like this one. He says, "Thanks for the opportunity to win something useful." That was kind of interesting.
We strive. We strive.
Yeah. So.
And by the way, the place, the Oviedo.
Oviedo, Florida. Yes.
Oviedo.
Yeah.
Probably Oviedo is slightly north of Orlando.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably why I'm not familiar with it, because it's definitely just
Central Florida. Okay.
Yeah, Central Florida. Okay. Well, again, congratulations, Pat. And of course, we'll still have our grand prize winner coming up in this last half hour. We'll be announcing the winner of that as well. So right now, Ben and I are doing Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And also, I think it's your turn to do a story, is it not? Or is it mine?
No, it's definitely mine.
Okay.
And this one I liked because it had giant pink towers. Awesome. This one from Popular Science, and the article reads, "Plans unveiled for the world's tallest, pinkest towers." Now, as many of you know, the tallest towers, I think the ones are currently in Dubai, are they currently the tallest?
I think so.
One of those. But yeah, I'm sure a quick Google search of, if I was actually prepared, I could just Google search that and find that in like 2 seconds. But yeah, China plans on buildings. China's planned buildings combine amazing height with green technologies that seem almost too good to be true.
These are beautiful. I mean, look at these things. They're absolutely
Yeah,
great.
I know. They have mock-ups of them right now, and just as artists' renditions, they are amazing.
Yeah.
So, the eternal competition to build the world's tallest building has yielded striking landmarks and spectacular rivalries, both of which have escalated in the past century. With its buildings boom started in the 1980s, China may have been a late entry, but it's a force to be reckoned with given its penchant for drama and its tenacity. But its most recent entry, announced last week, has the potential to blow all the others out of the water. The paired Phoenix Towers will be built on an island and combine every sort of green technology, both feasible and far-fetched. Plus, they'll be bright pink. Weird. The Phoenix Towers will be built in China's 10th biggest city, Wuhan, which is located in the center of the country. The city is split between the banks of the Yangtze River and riddled with lakes. Given its proximity to moving water, it's only natural that the tower be built with renewable energy in mind. The taller male tower, named Feng, will loom 1 kilometer high, its sides equipped with photovoltaic panels and a wind turbine couched in its tapering spire. Its sister tower, Huang, will have walls filled with plants, green walls, quote-unquote, house insect hotels, and be equipped with biomass boilers, which heat the structure by burning plant fuel. At its base, towers will collect rainwater. That's a lot of green technology.
Yeah, it is.
So if some of these green technologies seem mysterious to you, you're not alone. Some reviews have called the structure an environmental novelty act and a greenwash
measuring
contest.
Yeah.
The green technology is predictable at best, wind turbine, overambitious, the biggest biomass boilers ever designed, and downright enigmatic. What is a thermal chimney at worst? So, but according to Laurie Chetwood, the founder of British architecture of Chetwood's Architecture and partner with the Chinese group for the project, this over-the-top design was no accident. She told design magazine Daisyin, "In China, if you come up with a slightly mad idea, it's almost not mad enough. We've applied as many environmental ideas as possible, as we possibly could, to justify the shape and the size of the towers." Mm-hmm. So in fact, much of the tower's significance is more symbolic rather than, well, useful. The male tower can only be inhabited for about 100 floors, or about half its height. The rest of the space will be the rest of the space in that and the other tower is devoted to mechanical and eco-friendly functions. Those involved in the project have indicated that their primary goal is to create a spectacular tourist attraction reminiscent of the Eiffel Tower and utility. This is the biggest tourist idea right in one of the largest lakes in Wuhan. So the group that commissioned the project is turned onto the environmental idea, but there's always obvious the commercial element at the base of it. So you got these amazing towers, has all these different green measures and all, in different ways to make this thing be green. And if they get this thing built, it could definitely be a tourist attraction.
Wow.
I mean, they look amazing.
Yeah, they do.
At least just from the sketches.
Yeah, the sketches are absolutely beautiful. Of course, it's the pink is augmented by the incredibly blue sky in the background, but still.
Well, I mean, it's still an art rendition, but I mean, it's going to have bat boxes. It's going to have river taxis. It's going to have rare species living in it. Thermal chimney. I don't know what that is. There's just going to be just crazy touristy attractionities kind of all over the place. So if the Phoenix Towers get built, you will know where it is in Wuhan.
Wuhan. This next story from Engadget. Globalstar SatFi satellite hotspot is now available for just under $1,000, $999. This is just came out. Globalstar, the company behind the affordable Spot satellite phone, has a new device on the market that can turn any smartphone into a globally connected handset. SatFi is not a Wi-Fi hotspot in the traditional sense. You can't simply just connect and expect limitless web browsing and media streaming, but it can support email, SMS, and voice calls for up to 8 connected devices simultaneously. Transfer rates are capped at a paltry 9.6 kilobits per second, so you're really, not megabits, 9.6 kilobits per second, so you're really limited to text applications and data is billed by the minute, just like a voice call. However, unlike other satellite devices, you also need a line-of-sight connection between SatFi's external antenna and the big bird hundreds of miles above in order to make and receive calls. But assuming you're able to meet that requirement, you should be good to go in remote areas all around the world. The device is reasonably priced at $9.99, and per minute rates top out at $1 a minute. There are plenty of monthly plans to choose from, too, ranging from $40 for 40 minutes to $150 for unlimited service. And SatFi is available now. Maybe in a place where you can't get connections?
Maybe. I mean, I especially lately, just in the past couple of years, per minute charges, I mean, be it on cell phones, on data plans, on anything, on phone calls, per minute deals just don't ring too many good bells,
Yeah.
People like data and they like it, as much as they can get for as low a price as they can get. So, I mean, see, it's going to be good for someone, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess, obviously, they must have thought so. I mean, before they went ahead and made something, I'm sure they did their marketing research. So
find a need, fill a need.
Yeah, if you're out in the middle of nowhere,
Oh yeah, I mean, that's really where satellite kind of thrives. Is where the big companies that we all enjoy here in bigger cities, out there where there's maybe one house for every couple hundred miles. These big companies really don't feel like running cable out to them, so that's where satellite kind of thrives. So for $9, for $9, $9.99, and then $1 a minute, might be worth it to you. Maybe log cabin kind of deal. I don't know.
Yeah, if you live in a log cabin,
other cabins of logular build and design. I don't know. Now, how about something a little bit more high-tech? I got to ask, I know around the dinner table here at the Computer America household, we have talked about it, but I'm not sure if you guys talked about it on the air.
What's that?
Which would be the electrical currents could heal cavities and replace drilling.
No.
You didn't. Okay, well, we have talked about it here, as we said. So, again, this one from Popular Science, article, electrical currents could heal cavities and replace drilling. Because I know what you're saying, Ben. No, hold on. We love drilling. We love how people come into our face and our mouth with hard metal objects and drill into our mouth. It's wonderful. Why get rid of that? It's okay. It's better this way.
Nope.
So the dentist drill has long been a source of anxiety for sugar snacking youths, but a new technique has the potential to treat cavities without drilling by using a painless electrical current to heal holy choppers. So researchers at King's College London have developed a technique called electrically accelerated and enhanced remineralization. Yeah, there we go. In which the device they've dubbed as a healing handpiece is placed over the site of the cavity. The tool emits a small electrical current that promotes the remineralization of the tooth, driving calcium, phosphate, and other substances back into the enamel. And the scientists told the Washington Post, cavities happen when bacteria break down or demineralize the enamel with acid. So the technique could take as much time and cost about the same or less than a traditional filling, and publications describing the technique should be published in coming months, quote unquote. The technique could put an end to the cycle of filling and refilling, said King's professor Nigel Pitts. When we repair a tooth by putting in a filling, the tooth enters a cycle of drilling and refilling as ultimately each repair fails. So by this process only needs to be done once, he said.
No.
A Scottish company called Remanova Limited is trying to commercialize the technology and said it could be available in 3 years if enough funding is found. It could take slightly longer in the U.S. though, due to the different regulatory environment the scientists said. But I mean, I actually got to talk with someone who had this done.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Someone online. I know, very
Okay.
skeptical.
Okay.
But I mean, he actually went to King's College London and had the procedure done. I mean, of course, they were just testing it out then. So he had a cavity. He went in, for free, and they tested on him. And they put on this clear, warm gel, and they cover the side of the tooth with it. And then they have the device that fits in the hand, and then they just place it over your mouth for about an hour and a half or so, and over the side of the cavity. And with the electrical current, it actually takes the calcium ions, the phosphate ions, and things like that, and those are all charged one way or another, positively or negatively, that are in the paste that they put on your tooth. And then just by running that current through, it makes the site where the cavity is kind of reabsorb all the calcium that has gone out of it. So it's attracting those ions and that stuff, and it just keeps going and going and going until the cavity is filled again. And it really isn't for big gaping holes in your teeth. It's more of here's a weak spot where cavities will start showing up, and it's really great for that. This is the making of a cavity. Let's put this, and it'll reharden the tooth enamel.
Wow.
So I mean, he said it worked beautifully. No pain, no drilling, no anxiety or anything like that. It's just warm paste, a device for a little while, and he was good to go. So
did it work?
Yeah, it completely. I mean, he only had a weak spot, but I mean, they showed X-rays. On the X-ray it shows white teeth with the little darker spots where it's degrading, and after the treatment it was completely gone, and he was good to go.
And the treatment only took an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, just the same amount of time that it would, to drill it out, put the filling in, let it cure, you could get this procedure done.
Wow.
So, I mean, dentistry, making strides.
Evidently. That's impressive.
Yep. Actually, and before you leap into another article, I think we should do our final winner of our Large Tech Contest.
Want to do it now?
We should do it now, before we forget.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know. It never happens. Never happens.
All right. This is for the first place grand prize winner. This is the Logitech UE600 noise isolating earphones, about $120. Really high quality diaphragm drivers were designed and tuned for music lovers who want to hear the music just as it's recorded. Beautiful set of headsets. And we're going to give those away now. And that winner is Robert Kimball. Robert Kimball, you're a grand prize winner. Congratulations. Robert listens to us in Bakersfield, California. So congratulations to you, Robert. He also had a little comment. He says, almost forgot to enter. Thanks, guys. And then in parentheses, if you pick my name. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Robert. Congratulations. You're our grand prize winner. So congratulations to all of our. Again, the third prize winner is Susan Jordan in Union Springs, Alabama. Our second prize winner of the Logitech G400S gaming mouse is Pat Hodges, who lives in Ovidio, Florida. I know I can't pronounce that. And then our grand prize winner, Robert Kimball in Bakersfield, California. Congratulations to all of you. You will get your contact info will be sent to Logitech, and you should expect to hear from them shortly. And again, just head over to ComputerAmerica.com. Our contest is up and running again. And get your entries in, because in another 6 weeks we're going to give away another 3 prizes from Logitech. Okay, great. Okay, so you know, with all the noise that I've been making about evidently Apple's going to be coming out with an iWatch in the September-October timeframe, Ben, and evidently, you know, and I'm now that I have my other watch here, you know, you can see it. Now that I have this, I'm not as quite.
Now you can wait with, you know, not quite a heavy heart.
Right, exactly. Well, evidently, the new Withings wearable activity is an analog activity tracker. Wow. Okay. Now, few fitness trackers have managed to nail style. Okay, function over form has been the guiding principle when it comes to wrist tech. Sometimes a disastrous result. Withings already has a not-so-stylish health tracker on the market for $120, the Pulse. But today, they announced the Activity. To say it's the opposite of the Pulse would be an understatement. Out this fall, the $390 Activity looks like a luxury timepiece that would be at home on any Parisian's wrist. With a stainless steel case, sapphire glass face, and a leather strap, the Activity is surely the classiest smartwatch you've ever seen. Nothing about it looks digital, but the Bluetooth-enabled Activity tracks your movements, tells you how many calories you burned, and detects your sleep patterns, then syncs with your smartphone to show you the day's data. The waterproof watch also vibrates to wake you up in the morning or to encourage you when you've met your activity goals for the day. The display resembles a traditional analog watch, but with 2 dial hands, one that shows the time, and a smaller one that shows you the percentage of you've completed of the goals that you've established and for yourself using the Withings HealthMate app for the iOS and Android. Like an analog watch, the Activity is powered by batteries and isn't rechargeable. My main concern with the slew of wrist-worn activity trackers on the market right now is their complete and utter lack of style. I don't want to wear a ginormous black square on my wrist, looking at you, Samsung, or a weird Livestrong-like bracelet. Got that Fitbit? Withings' last entry in the market, the Pulse, was one of those worst offenders. Clearly, the French company took notes on its country's history of fashion-forward products to produce the Activity. And while at nearly $400, it's a little expensive for an activity tracker, for a high-tech quality watch, the price might just be right. What do you think? It looks nice? I think
it's a nice looking watch. It's a nice looking analog watch.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we have more time for 1 or 2 more stories. This one, Harley Davidson. You may know them from their T-shirts, and I think they also make bikes somewhere. But everyone thinks of now. This article, Born to be Wired, Harley Davidson introduces an electric hog. This one from Device. So the article reads, mention the name Harley Davidson and most of us think of a gnarly-looking dude in black leather revving a loud, throbbing V-twin engine. In fact, the sound of a Harley engine is so iconic that the company actually attempted to trademark it back in the 90s. So to be honest, these days the gnarly dude riding a hog is more likely to be a banker or a real estate broker than some biker gang member. But that's just because the Harley mystique is primarily about image. So what are the diehard Harley fans going to make of a hog that sounds more like a jet fighter getting ready for takeoff? Technical designs about Project Livewire are kind of sketchy, but that's not so important because it isn't intended to be a commercial product. Instead, it's more of a showcase to indicate a possible future direction for the company. The press release talks about tire shredding performance and asks you to draw a comparison with an electric guitar rather than your neighbor's Nissan Leaf. Harley-Davidson is currently taking Livewire on a tour of U.S. dealerships to get some impressions from their loyal customers. Then next year they will expand the tour to Canada and Europe. So electric motorcycles are certainly an important development as we try to make all of our transportation systems more green friendly, but Harley-Davidson is about the last company that the author expected to see jumping into that bandwagon. So perhaps they can maintain the tradition of Harley image by following BMW's example and pumping out some awesome recorded engine sounds through speakers built in on the bike. Now they also have a video here that you can look up. Just look up Harley-Davidson Project Livewire, and and there's about a 1-minute clip of it. And
sounds like
you do, and it has a little bit of the background music, but you can definitely hear the sound of the bike. And I mean, imagine just a Prius, but I mean just flooring the Prius, and then just taking that whole engine and putting it on a bike. For speed, this thing looks really, really fast for an electric bike.
Wow.
So it's definitely not going to sound like a traditional Harley, but it definitely has a nice look to it. So I think.
You think the Harley community will accept it?
Yeah, I think I like to think the Harley community can be refined and adapt to change maybe. So I mean it's a good looking bike at any rate. So hopefully they jump on with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you, I think that about it wraps it up again. I want to again congratulate our 3 winners for our Logitech contest, and I also want to send a shout out. Thanks again to Brian Abbott, the assistant director of the Hayden Planetarium. Okay, thanks for doing the show. That was very informative. Coming up on tomorrow's show, what do we got? Oh, Wix is going to be joining us. Now you know Wix, don't you? Wix has been on the show a number of times in the past, and they're back because they're introducing 50, not 5, not 10, but 50 new features on their website. In other words, Wix basically is a website that lets you develop your own websites. And in fact, here at Computer America, that's exactly what we did. We've used Wix, and we continue to use Wix to create and maintain our website. Now, Ben created the current one. Got us out of the 90s and brought it into it. But already he's unhappy with it. He wants to make it. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I opened my mouth and realized that it's actually more work than I remember.
Seconds.
So I've already started working on the second one. So I might really be interested in the next tomorrow's show because I'm probably going to be using a lot of their features, new ones.
That's right. And you'll be joining us for tomorrow. I think you'll be joining us tomorrow's show. Yeah. Or I'm not sure Charles is going to be back in time, but we'll certainly work out the details. Either Charles or Ben will be here tomorrow to talk to Wix about all of the new features. And then, of course, in the second hour, we'll do computer and technology news.
60 seconds.
And that's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So, Ben.
Yes.
I think you're going to be with us the next few shows. You're going to be sort of returning to the Computer America show, and we'll work out the details, and we'll see what's.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, I will let you know. So that wraps it up. Again, congratulations to our 3 big winners on our Logitech contest. And again, head over to ComputerAmerica.com because we've opened it back up. You get another chance to win some great prizes from Logitech. So we'll see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Seconds.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, we still have our Google Hangouts running, so thanks to all of you for watching. And let me just say goodnight to everybody in the chat room. Night. All right, and I'll say goodbye there. All right, and thanks for watching our behind the scenes Computer America show, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Say goodnight, Ben.
Good night, Ben.
All right.